Okay guys, we're going to continue working on the Stamperia Make a Wish, and we are on to page 7. So we'll do page 7 and 8, and then I'll probably pause and do an upload and then come back and do the covers inside and out. So here we are on page 7. This is our pocket page. This is our spine side. This is the open side. And this is the design we're going to have. So this is the same as page 2. So it's going to be the same dimensions, but I will go over them again. And it's 2 flaps that open actually toward each other. And then they also fold down. So I'm going to set aside the designer paper. And we're going to go over the flaps real quick. So you're going to need 2 of these. These are 4.5 by 8. 4.5 by 8. You're going to score at 1/2 inch. 2 of those. Here's the other one. And the hinges are going to be toward each other. So they're going to actually be applied to the book like so. And then on top of each one of those is an additional flap that goes down. And these are 8.5 by 4. 8.5 by 4. You're going to score 1/2 inch along the 8.5 inch side. So I'm going to go ahead and apply these flaps. Actually, what do I want to do? I'm trying to decide. Do I want to apply these outside? Let's go ahead and apply these 2 to the main pocket page first. Okay. I just think it'll make it easier to see this line. And again, this is the hinge side, and it's going toward the center of the pocket page. So these are the open ends, these are the closed ends. This is the top, bottom. And I'm just dry fitting to make sure, and it's a little too big, so I'm going to trim a smidge off. Kind of got a rough edge there. All right, now let's do the same thing. Let's make sure this is the right size. And I'm just standing it end to end to make sure everything is flush, and it is. Okay. So we're ready to put this in. Pick tool. Okay, we're going to apply the hinge toward the center of the page, and we'll get one end and then we'll measure the other one off of it. So here's my spine. I'm going to get these 2 corners flush and then lay this down against the center. I'm going to turn it sideways so I can see my corner better without getting my head in the shot. And I'm wanting to make sure that nothing is going to hang over the edge and get caught. And it looks pretty good. So I'm going to shift it so I can see this side now before I lay it down. And it looks good. There we go. So there is our first hinge. Again, apply toward the center. This is the spine side. This is the outside. Now we're going to put this one in right here. And I'm going to burnish that in place real quick. All right. I should have dry fit, but I'm going to flip it over and make sure it's not hanging off the edge here. And it's not. There we go. Okay, so these both open and the backs touch each other, or actually the front. So that is the first flap. Now the second flaps are going to get applied directly on top, and they will open down. Yep. Okay, I think I've got a little tab I'm going to take off here. Actually, I think it's okay. That drifted a little on me, so I'm going to straighten it out. There is a tendency for this one to get caught in the hinge. So you want to try to make sure it doesn't go down crooked, and that you can, if you have any excess, that it goes to the outside. There we go. Perfect. All right, we're going to do that one more time. Just doing a quick dry fit, make sure it's not hanging off the edge here. That's beautiful. Okay, those are in. All right, so those both open down, and then these open back to back, like so. And then this is going to be the little flap that holds everything together. Now, when I originally designed this, I thought I was going to apply this hinge here, and then since I've decided that I like it better, applied to this so that you can lift the whole thing and close the whole thing. So that means my tape is on the wrong side. So I'm okay with that tape being on the wrong side. I'm just going to add some more. Actually, I'll just flip it around. Yeah. Or do I want to do that? Is that what I want to do? I'm thinking out loud. Sorry. Last time this is what I did. So you can do that, or you can actually just apply it just like this and have the hinge like so. And I actually think I like that better. I don't know why. But I think I prefer it rather than having it hanging over the edge like I did the last one. So it's slightly different installation, but you're going to get the same result. So now I'm just going to flip this over. This is the top, and I just want to get a good look at where I'm laying this down. I just want it centered. On this flap here. So I just want to center this. My glasses are just, I need glasses so bad. I think at some point you just can't get the lens to clear anymore. And these are a couple years old. I think that's where I'm at. Okay, whoops, didn't grab. I'm not measuring, I'm just doing this visually. It's not a continuous pattern, and it's actually quite busy, so even if it's off center just a bit, it's not going to be very obvious at all. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on this side. And then we're going to find our magnet locations. Tuck this all the way in. So we're just looking for center here. That's kind of rough. I don't know how that happened. You know what? I'm going to pause. This looks really rough to me, so I'm going to actually take this panel out and do another one. So I'll be right back. I'm going to use some undo and get that out. Okay, I'm ready to put this in. Contrast sheet, get this centered. Sorry, I'm really struggling with my glasses right now, causing me to see a line across everything. I don't know what the deal is. And that just won't let go of my finger. Sorry. There we go. Wow, that was tough. There we go. So what are we doing now? So we're looking for magnets, right? So we're going to have a magnet on each side. We're going to use a magnet on top of this, and then a mate. And again, I'm using these very large magnets, which I don't really prefer. They're harder to cover, but it's what I had. Actually, that's not big enough. Too small. There we go. That's big enough. I want to get a sense of where the second magnet will fall. So this flap right here that we're holding closed, it doesn't come all the way to the top. So I need to make sure that the magnet comes down far enough that it'll be covered, and that looks good. So there we go. Now let's put it on the flip side. Actually, I decided I don't want it on the top, I want it underneath. So I'm taking this off. And I'll find the mate here real quick, and we'll get it glued down on this panel. And then I'll do it the right way on the next one. Okay, there we go. It's the right side. There we go. Okay, that's quite right now. And I'm just trying to get them, and I'm having a hard time, trying to get the tape all the way around the magnet because it really does soften the edges. It looks like that's about right. One more piece of tape. There we go. That is in. Okay, so now these two flaps are closed. And then as you recall, we're going to need a magnet to hold these shut. Okay, so we will need 2 magnets here and 2 on the other side. So you'll need 4 sets of magnets for this page. And here it is. Oh, lost my tape. Okay, we'll do the same thing here. So I made these magnets so that they're polar opposites, so it's repelling instead of grabbing it, and it'll just make it easy to close it when it's when you're done looking at this side. If you don't do that, then it wants to snap back on you, and that's okay too. It's just, you just have to tug it back in place when it's time. I did the same thing on the other page. It's really just a preference. You might want it to snap open, so that's really up to you. Okay. All right, everything is in place. The magnets are down. I did it in the right order. Who knew? So it's time to get the decorator papers down, and we are really we're really making some good progress on this album. I think I will finish it today. I picked out my cover just a few minutes ago, and I'm stalling because I'm cleaning my workspace while I chat with you guys. Need to pick up a few things. Okay, great. So this is what's going to go here on the top, very top flap. I think, yes, and this is the way it goes. So this is just one image split apart. And I told you I had done that in a couple of places because the patterns were so busy that I didn't feel like I could really add much more. It's quite the collage already. Okay, that looks really good. Looks like I did a good job getting this trimmed out the first time. And it's inked, so it's time to get some glue on this and get this down. All right, let's get some glue on here. Give me a few more minutes to wiggle it into place. Okay, that's in place. Let's do the same thing on this side. I'm just burnishing the tape around the magnet. The tape really does soften the edge of the magnet. The magnet has kind of a hard edge, so it's worth spending some time on. But it's not required. Okay, as usual, if you click, oh, that is not trimmed down. I'm gonna have to let that dry and trim. If you click the See More button, you will find a list of the material used in this project with links back to our shop. And then if you continue to scroll down, you will see the cut list for this project. I run banners as I'm teaching it. This is a 2 by 2.5, 2 by 2.5 score at 1/2 inch on any one of the sides. I forgot to tell you that when we were putting it together, even though I told you the other measurements. The cut list will be past the material list, so just keep scrolling and you'll see it. Page 1, 2, 3, 4 are unique flap designs, and then I repeat those flap designs 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I don't repeat the measurements, I just tell you mirror this page, mirror that page. And that's why when you open to the center, you see all that symmetry, because that's the way it's designed. Okay. All right. Just drying that off a little bit. So let's see if this is dry enough to trim. I think I'm going to give it a shot. Why is it? Oh, I remember. I trimmed that down a little bit. I'm like, why is that so far off? But I remember now. That might be a bit much. You know what? I'm gonna wait for it to dry. I'm uncomfortable trimming it. I wanna dry fit it first. And I might even use a little tick mark. But while we're waiting for it to dry, I think I can do this. Go ahead and get this on. The edges are inked. It's ready to go. this is again 2 by 2.5, 2 by 2.5. Score it 1/2 inch on any one of those sides, and that is the little hinge that's going to hold all the top pieces in place. All right, so that is done. Waiting for this to dry so we can check it real quick. I'm going to put a contrast paper under here and look at this. So it is off quite a bit. I need to trim this side. Okay, give me a second and I'll be right with you. I have to be so careful because there is no extra papers. I have to make it work with what I have. And I think that was just the right answer. Yes. Okay, I'm going to ink what I just trimmed, and then we're going to get this down. Okay, take 2. I notice whenever I take something off and try to reapply it, the little bit of glue that's left behind is quite tacky. So you can't really do much sliding around. So just FYI, there we go. How's that look, guys? Ooh, I love it, I love it. And this is going to close like so. Okay, so that's done. So let's go ahead and what are we gonna do? I'm gonna put the cap on the glue and then we're gonna make a decision. Do you wanna do the inside? Let's do the insides first. This is going to be this beautiful red piece, which I'm just double checking fits, and it is inked. So I think I'm going to shift it this way so I can see side to side. Yeah. It looks pretty darn good, so let's get some glue on it. Okay, that's one. Let's do the next side. And we'll just keep going back and forth until it's done. I'm gonna double check. Yep, that's a good thing I did. I almost put this pattern in upside down. And I don't really think it's directional, but it's nice to have them both go the same way. Whoops, that was kind of heavy on the glue there. Okay, so that's done. Okay, now we are going to come back and do the bottom half. Actually, I'm going to set that aside. We're going to do the inside because I've already got those pieces prepared. The down flap has got to be trimmed to fit, so let's go ahead and get down the loose papers that we know where they're going. And This is what we're doing here. And I'm trying to decide, do I want up and down or crisscross? I like both. What do you guys think? I think I'm gonna do this. This is what I did on the other page, so that's what I'll do here. Just verifying that it is inked, and it is. These are 2 pieces of paper joined together with tape. So what I did is I cut 2 4x4s, taped them together, and then I trimmed it to fit here. So I needed to take 1/8 of an inch off the height and width to make it fit, but I wanted to do that trimming after the papers were joined. Oh, sorry. So that the edges would be really clean. Good grief. Okay, looking, it's page 8, page 7. Doesn't really matter. There is no up and down, so okay. I was just checking orientation. But in this case, it didn't really matter because these patterns aren't directional. Okay, there we go. That's in. I'm gonna do that 3 more times, right? 1 more here, and then we're gonna flip it and do it on the other side. So again, 2 4x4s joined together and then trimmed to fit the panel. So it's 3/8 by 7 7/8 is what it's actually trimmed down to. Oops. Forgot that tape. And of course you can glue them on individually if you like, but I think it actually works out better this way, and then you get those beautiful clean edges. So, I mean, when you look at it, it's hard to tell. It's really two pieces of paper. Man, I am fumbling today. You know what? I need a contrast sheet. That will help. I love it. I love it. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing again on this side. Wow, that magnet was so tight. I thought it was tape that was holding it down. So we're going to do blue up and blue down, just like that. So I mentioned it, but I'll mention it again. This is a 10 pack and a 22 pack. And it is enough paper to do this album, but you are going to need to do some color blocking because of the designs that I have. A lot of my flaps are the full length of the page, which, you know, that's 8 inches, 8 out of a 12-inch sheet. So you have to do color blocking to make it stretch. If you don't like color blocking, you're going to need additional paper to cover this whole album. Okay, that's in. Now we're going to do this side. I'm going to remember to take my tape off both places. And again, it's not laying flat because the magnets are repelling. If you want it to snap into place, reverse the polarization on this magnet and it will be attracted to this one and lay flat. But you will have to you'll have to tug to put it back in place. And I think also when the book is closed, it'll want to pull one page or the other. That's why I reverse the polarization. But it's really preference. And of course, if you use something like a bow or a a swing tab, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There won't be any pulling on the magnet, right? You can get it to lay flat. I personally like magnets because you can still put your photo anywhere you want it. If you have a swing tab, you have to work around where you're going to put your photo. Bows are the same way. You have to work around where you're going to put your photo. You can put a photo on top of a magnet. It's not ideal, but you can. Well, just trying to shift that down a little bit. Little excess glue and a ton of glue on my hands. I'm gonna burnish, burnish, burnish. There we go. So that is done. So now the last is we need to cover these two and then these two down flaps. Okay, so the down flaps need to be trimmed to size, and I've got some pieces to work with here. It's not laying flat, sorry. So, pardon me. This is what I had planned. And this. And then I've got two pieces of contrast right here, which I'm not so crazy about. So I'm gonna look and see if I like something better. I didn't mean to pull everything out, but no, I don't like that either. I think that's too close to that, so I need something a little more contrasting. I could do red dots. Let's see if the red's the right color. Let's see. What do you think? Blue dots or red dots? I think I still like the blue dots better, but I'm trying to pick up that little bit of gray, but that's not the right color either. And this one's upside down. So I think of my choices, I'm liking the blue dots the best. I have green dots, they don't look right at all. So I think I'm gonna go with the blue dots. And now I'm just trying to decide how much of where I want the distribution. If I want mostly white, mostly red, half and half. I think I like that. Okay, so that's where I'm headed. Now I need to get everything married up so it's the same width. All right, so let me trim these down. That's why, because I trimmed them the wrong direction. Huh. Okay, so I just realized that I had trimmed these to go in this position back and forth, and I don't think I like that at all. So I'm gonna need a minute to locate some more paper and trim something else out. Okay, new plan. I went and found another piece of paper. I'm keeping the top two, but I'm adding the red dots on the bottom. The other ones I hadn't trimmed down to the right size. So the new plan is I'm going to tape these two together and trim down to fit after they're joined. So let's do that real quick. So we're going to ink the two areas that are going to get married or joined. I want to try to make sure I put that down in the right direction because I want the marry to be going in the right direction when I apply it. Okay, here's my tape. I'm going to lay it down. Hopefully I'm in frame, but So I'm paying attention to make sure that I'm putting down the inked edge. That's the inked edge. And this is the inked edge, so they're gonna get joined, and then I'm gonna trim them down together. All right, that's it together. So now I'm gonna do the same thing on this side before I trim them. Okay. So these two edges are gonna get joined. Now, I'm going to put these in the trimmer and trim them down together. And then we should have a perfectly flush edge. Like so. I'm going to do that one more time. All right, so that's our new solution. Whoops. So now we trimmed the sides, so I'm going to re-ink them in the bottom. And then this is the last of the designer paper. Well, that's not true. We still have that 2x2 flap to cover up top. So I will have to find something for that. I did both, I forgot to trim something, but I've got something that's, I can see it in the corner of my eye that I think will work. Okay, let's swing that around. There we go. There's our Mary, and there's our side-by-side. Oh, you know what? I realized we trimmed the width, but we need to trim the length now. And I am going to go off. It's 7 1/4. So it should be 7 1/8. Okay. The red end. There we go. Now it's ready. A little more ink. And if it didn't have this decorative band in the middle, I would have added something, but I think that that's enough. I don't think I need to show where the two pages are joining, which, by the way, if you can't see it, it's right here. It's where this tan meets the darker brown. But it's so masked by the pattern, it's really hard to tell. It does look like a single piece of paper. All right, I'm ready to get my tape off and get this glue on and get these put down. Don't forget to get glue on that tape because it will grab and you won't have any time to slide if you don't put glue on it. This polka dot reminds me of Minnie Mouse. Okay, that is done. Let's lift up this. Okay, now we'll do this side. And I'm happy with the way this looks. We'll get those top flaps, that's kind of the hinge that's holding it together, covered, the inside done, and then we are finished with this. This page will go on to page 8, and page 8 is the same as page 1. It's very simple. It's a flap with a very narrow pocket. And I forgot to put my magnet down the first time when I was doing page 1. We won't do that. We will make sure we get our magnet in before we put our paper down. That is page 7. And as a reminder, there's the inside of page 7. They're both the same. There we go. Now we're going to flip it over. And this is page 8. and that's my spine, and that matters because I want the hinge for page 8 to open. I believe I want it to open away from the spine, but I'm going to go back and look at page 1 just to be sure. Page 1, yes, it does. Spine, yep, it opens away from the spine. So we have a large flap that's going to go over to the left hand side, and then we have this very narrow pocket that's going to go here. So this flap is 6.5 by 8. 6.5 by 8. You're going to score 1/2 inch, and I guess I don't have tape on it, 1/2 inch on the 6.5 inch side. Got tape on the pocket, just somehow missed the large hinge. So I'm going to dry fit it to the page real quick, make sure it's the same height. And it is. Okay, that's my spine, that's the outside edge. So page 8 is going to lay over this way. That's where I want to apply this. Let's do it. I'm going to turn it to me so I can see these 2 corners. As I lay down one, pivot it in place. There we go. Beautiful. And then this is our pocket, and it's going to get applied to the outside edge, and it's going to be right on the edge here. I'm going to dry fit it, make sure it fits, and it does. Hey, sweetie, that's Nala. She just came to see me. It has been a very warm day today. My craft room sits on the south side of the house. It's the warmest side. There we go, that's in. So I'm going to show you real quick. So there's the large flap that opens to the left, and then here's our pocket, and it's on the right hand side. Those are the interactive features, pretty straightforward. This is who I have put on the cover here. He's so pretty, so I wouldn't really put pictures on him. So he's going to be right here, and I'm double checking to make sure, yeah, that I ink the edges, and I have. This is going to go very quickly because this is a very simple page. Oops. Am I doing what I told you I wouldn't do? I'm putting a panel down before I put my magnet in. What is the matter with me? It's okay, I'm not going to put the magnet on top. It's going to go on the flip side, so I am going to do it. But it's best to get those all in place first. Okay, that's in. Now I'm going to open this up and get our magnets placed before I forget again. Okay, just need 2 magnets. Now, I'm planning on putting ephemera in here. Let's get a lid on that. Sorry, I need to straighten up. I can't think straight. Too many scraps floating around. These need to be here. This does not. Also don't need that. So like I was saying, I'm planning on putting ephemera in this pocket. So the more buildup you have here, the harder it will be for the magnet to continue to attract. So I didn't do this on the first one, but that I am going to do this one differently, and I'm going to place magnets actually on the outside. So if I've got ephemera in the middle, they'll still have some opportunity to attract. Hopefully that makes sense. That's not my preference. Normally I make my whole flap larger than so that there's significant overlap and that I can put a magnet on the pocket and on the flap and still be able to cover the magnet with my designer paper here. But for some reason I didn't do that. I don't know what I was thinking. It's unusual for me. So I'm going to put one here. And and find the mate on the other side, and then I think I'm just going to go with one. These are really strong magnets. You could do one on either end, but I don't think it's necessary. All right, and I'm just trying to pull it up far enough from the edge here that when I put my designer paper in, it will not be exposed. All right, that's in place. And that felt very strong, so I'm very comfortable with that. But if you like, you can put another set. If I was using my small magnets, I probably would have put two. I don't know if it would have been strong enough. That's done. Now, oh, you know what? I tucked a piece of paper over here, and I'm realizing now that that was my pocket. Okay, let's put the pocket in before I try to put it up again. Again, we're on page 8. Page 8. Winding down. That's not centered. Shoot. I forgot to turn the book so I could see both edges. And I'm gonna go ahead and put my contrast sheet here too, to help me see all my edges. Much better. Much better. All right. Just checking my orientation. I can't remember if these have orientation or not. I don't think they do. So I think this is my plan currently. But I'm going to pause because I now know what my cover is going to be. I may change this. Okay, we're down to our last couple of pieces of paper that need to get installed. And it looks good. I switched out. I originally had a blue piece planned here and I didn't like the way it looks. So I found another piece that I like better. And this is what we're going to do. Again, we're on page 8. So make sure I'm burnishing around my magnet here. Okay, now I'm going to double check, that everything still lines up beautifully, and it does. Okay, and here is the paper that I planned for here. And it looks like I need to trim it down a bit. Much of it just right. It looks good. I'm going to ink it and glue it down. Alright, I don't have any glue yet, so this is my last chance to change my mind. And I like this better. So that's what we're doing. I like the 25 here. There we go. And I'll have some ephemera tucked in here later, but that is it. That is the end of page 8. While I have you guys here, we're going to walk through everything really quick. So that's page 8, page 7. And these are out of order. Page 4. There we go. I think. Nope. There we go. That is page 1. There we go. So I've used that design twice because I liked it so much. So there's page 1 with a tuck spot. Page 2. And of course the envelope explodes, which is an option. Page 2 is right here. And it opens the other way, and I'm still going to come back and put something here. I just don't know what yet. There we go. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So these both open up. And then they both open away from each other for this big spread. So I really like the way that turned out. Okay, then we're starting to see repeat pattern. I still have to do that as well, but I'm going to take that offline. These both go down. And then they open like so. Then this is page 8, which we just completed. And that's Saint Nick. And that opens away from the spine. So this is the spine side. So it's going to go in the book like so. So that is it for now. I want to share 2 more things with you. One, I went ahead and did my inserts, and I made my inserts a little smaller than usual. So these are 7 3/4, and I'll verify that. 7 3/4. Nope, I take it back. Yeah, 7 3/4. This way, by 8. 7 3/4 by 8. And I went ahead and put decorative trim on one side. I will probably come back and do something on the back side, and I may do some color blocking on these panels depending on how much scraps I have left. So I'm going to show you that. And then I'm going to cover it with St. Nicholas. So this will be the cover. And right now I'm still trying to decide if I want houses on the back, which is kind of fun, St. Nick and the houses, or if I just want a pattern on the back. So it's going to be one of these two. I haven't decided. I'm going to go off and do this on my own. I don't think you guys need to watch me put that in. During the walkthrough, I'll go over this in detail, as well as what I decide to do for the spine. So that's it for now. I'm going to go upload all this stuff and finish up the cover, and then when I come back, we will be doing a walkthrough.